Amerisplaining what's best for you, even if we ain't got no clue. Amerisplaining with Walter. Hey!
Welcome to Amerisplaining with Walter. And I'm your host, broadcast legend Walter Brohahahaha. So for episode number 3, I've abandoned my not-so-comfy veranda for a comfy chair in my comfy den, beside my comfy crackling wood fire, in my comfy cabin just outside of Chagrin Falls, North Dakota. As a matter of fact, I'm so comfy I wasn't even aware that I'm being religiously persecuted. And as the election season fades into the nether regions of our collective memories and our growings, the holiday season is almost upon us. And with it, of course, comes the constant nattering from the religious right, insisting that Santa Claus parades held in almost every town and city in America, countless church choir concerts, countless nativity scenes on millions of front lawns, aisle upon aisle of toys and gifts designed to rescue the bottom lines of most retailers in America, is surely a clear sign from above that Christianity is on the way out. Though I have to admit that by February, most of us are nailed to the cross of our credit card debt. And when you factor in the societal pressure to buy into that whole song and dance to the disadvantage of the less fortunate among us, that to me justifies more than a little bit of religious persecution, if you know what I mean. But in this episode, we're going to drop all that and get on to the task at hand. I'll be Amerisplaining the ins and outs, the ups and downs of American business, the envy of the world, and how sometimes a business success story can rise out of nowhere to capture the nation's attention. And of the 2 major stories to emerge in the business world this year, I'm going to concentrate on one of them. Of course, I'm talking about the uthe girl. Jesus H. Matilda, that hurt. Anyway, I don't want to dwell on the whole getting rid of Christmas persecution debate, because to be honest, it's been done to death! And of course, it's pretty damn stupid. Besides, the last thing you should be worrying about is a bunch of noisy MAGA crows. They'll move on if you just ignore them. After all, victimhood is clickdomhood. And the crows will find a new place to click. But I am going to warn you, though, later on in the episode, I'll be singing an original Christmas song that's kind of relevant. I've given the Chagrin Falls male chorus a well-deserved break, though I have retained the services of the female members of the Chagrin Falls Glee Club. It's definitely worth a listen and a like. My pipe is lit, the cognac's poured, the fire's crackling, so let's get started, shall we? One of the major reasons for America's success in the long march to becoming the world's economic superpower is the heroic, indomitable spirit and vision and drive shown by our heroic, pioneering 19th century business ancestors as they heroically carved up the continent into numerous monopolies. And not so ironically, these early monopolies in fur, steamboats, rail, land, telegraph, oil, steel, photography, etc., were created by heroically shitting on the rest of the citizens of our great nation and convincing them that this is good for you, so shut up. But not to get too socialist on you, they kind of screwed themselves because in response, John Q. McShit-on started the union movement, so party over. The 20th century saw even more entrepreneurship and innovation. New technologies were invented, even as the old ones faded. Autos, light bulbs, the telephone, phonograph, radio, TV, Hollywood. But what always differentiated us from the rest of the world was innovation. Think Henry Ford's automobile assembly line, unlimited credit approval, and of course, Las Vegas. In 1925, President Calvin Coolidge said, "The business of America is business." And in 1953, GM ex-president Charles Wilson said, "What's good for General Motors is good for America." Both of these quotes are actually misquotes of the originals, but I think it's telling that the misquotes extolling the elevated status of Quincy J. businessman survive, whereas the originals are relegated to fourth-page Google obscurity. In the new 21st century, the internet and the explosion of social media has transformed the world we live in, and really not for the better. And there's no denying that most of the founders of the successful surviving social media networks are either American-born or immigrants drawn to our shores by the promise of unlimited riches and a chance to play Monopoly Pong. We've actually allowed our lives to be transformed by 6 or 7 heroic billionaires, making them exponentially richer even while they're screwing up our children. But still, they whine that their billionairishness is good for you. So shut up! But I do think that there is trouble on the horizon, and by that I'm talking about China. They're fast learners and even faster replicators, and in many areas, their innovation is leaving us in the dust. For example, many Chinese factories are dark. The lights are off because robots don't need them to do the job. The only time humans enter is if there's a breakdown. Of course, there's the old Chinese joke. The modern factory will be just a man and a dog. The dog will be there to keep the man from touching the machines, and the man will be there to feed the dog. So now we have a situation where the billionaires are sniffing around for new opportunities, and by gum, they've found them. As recently as the present, we are witnessing the antics of the world's richest man as he leads the president-elect and most of the Republican members of Congress around by the nose, using the unlimited resources of Twitter to mobilize the MAGA Crow patriots, willing to throw millions of their fellow Americans under the bus for absolutely no reason, even at Christmas, because they're patriots, right? So now the money's moving on to roost on a new telephone pole, which brings us to the Hawk Tui girl.
Amerisplaining with Walter. Hey!
And I swore I wasn't going to do that again. So here we go. Haley Welch, the Hawk Tui girl. I think I have a short memory. Anyway, one warm and sultry evening in 2024, Miss Welsh and her friend were asked to do a quick man-in-the-street type interview by a popular duo who then posts them to YouTube and other social media to rack up the views and likes that form the backbone of their online business. And in response to one of the questions, which shall remain unsaid on this platform, part of her answer included the phrase, "You gotta give him that hawk twad, spit on that thing," in her best Tennessee accent, which is obviously not my best accent. The clip was posted immediately, and within a day or two, it became a not entirely welcome addition to American popular culture. Even in the recent past, she would have enjoyed Andy Warhol's famous 15 minutes and gone back to the spring factory where she was employed. But no, she ran smack dab right into what I call a present viable business model. I call it the meme economy. She quickly turned a chance occurrence into a huge financial opportunity that will, with some smarts and a bit of luck, be the one that changes the trajectory of her life. She started guesting on podcasts, released a line of branded merchandise, and acquired experienced representation to monetize her fame. She even has her own podcast called Talk To Her. I did catch the episode featuring Mark Cuban. It was very entertaining. I would sure return and listen to more. So now she's become a meme. M-E-M-E, meme. That is to say, an image or term of reference that enough people recognize that it can be used in other situations that have nothing to do with the original. For example, the cartoons of Donald Trump as Superman or Jesus have nothing to do with the original. That the MAGA Crows post on Twitter. I'm fully expecting to see some Hawk Tui memes soon with, say, Trump and his billionaire posse eating KFC down at Mar-a-Lago. And the beauty is you don't need millions of investment capital dollars from startup venture capitalists or a few rounds of multi-million dollar funding from private equity firms or even, God forbid, an Ivy League MBA. All you need is the individualism and, of course, good old-fashioned American chutzpah shown by everyday people like Miss Welch. So, Mr. and Ms. John Q. business person, it's time to be heroic again. As promised, we're going to cap the episode with a little number I wrote called Don't Say Goodbye to Merry Christmas Yet. Happy holidays, everyone. Christmas, what a wonderful time of the year. But how we gonna know that it's Christmas if we never ever use the word Christmas or even merry? Let's look at holiday. It's a word that could apply to almost any day, like Mother's Day, Veterans Day, or Labor Day. It's not really specific to Christmas. It's too confusing. All this political correctness sometimes goes too far. Neither Santa Claus nor Jesus gives a shit, so let's not say goodbye to Merry Christmas yet. We go to office Christmas parties, getting drunk and pinching all the interns' buns. Every Christmas, then we whip out a cheesy plastic cheeses and pretend we were a bunch of nuns. Every Christmas, we insulted everybody.
You are assholes.
And no one seemed to mind.
Yes, we did. We really, really did.
Don't say goodbye to Merry Christmas yet. Okay, I know this is a pretty silly song, but first of all, I'm 77 years old and there's not too much that gets the old give a shit meter moving, you know what I'm saying? But one thing I gotta say is that even though back then we had the cultural sensitivity of your average Saudi Arabian, I think it's a generational thing, just so everybody just hold your horses. And once my generation and all my peers die out, then, well, the world will be a better place. Now that's the point I wanted to make. Now it's off to the rest of the song. This political correctness sometimes goes too far. There's neither Yahweh nor the Buddha gives a shit, so let's not say goodbye to Merry Christmas. Bye to Merry Christmas. Bye to Merry Christmas yet. This has been Amerisplaining with Walter Brohahahaha. Now it's off to the end credits. Amerisplaining with Walter is written and produced by Blaine Selkirk. Amerisplaining with Walter was recorded by Blaine Selkirk. I forgot who's pissed because Walter has a better... Thank you. I forgot to mention something. You're probably wondering why I went with the Hot Toy story. Well, I downloaded a new version of my Give a Shit Meter app this week because the new upgrade is now powered by AI. So when I queried my Give a Shit Meter to give me a little background on AI, the other big business story of 2024, to my absolute amazement, the needle was barely moving. Broadcast voice. It could have been called Amerisplaining with Blaine. Music and songs composed and recorded by Blaine Selkirk. Lyrics by Blaine Selkirk. Edited by Blaine Selkirk. Mixed by Blaine Selkirk for Ancient Sun Studios. And even I agree, Blaine Selkirk is a name that's been done to death. But please subscribe, comment, and tell your friends. Broadcast legend.
facing trials of job to bring the news to your home. His ex-wives hate him so.